So wait they just keep you lead. Well, here we are again. I'm standing in front of a whiteboard filled with more forms, and that's because mea culpa, I didn't realize that we still had to go through the negative imperative forms. So here they are, but we're going to try to really make these videos a lot tighter and more efficient by getting the forms up beforehand, so we can cut the time length down for these videos to something like 6 to maybe 7 minutes. So here we go. Negative imperatives. A positive imperative, a positive command is obvious, like what we were doing before in the other video. When you're commanding somebody to do something, commanding will take place in second person because you're talking to somebody, and a negative command is simply the case where you're commanding somebody not to do something. Okay. Well, how does Latin do that? Has two ways of doing it. The main way is presented here in the blue marker. The alternate way is going to be in the green. So since this is the more common way, we'll do this one first. And the way Latin does it is that it combines a word of command with an infinitive. So the word of command, okay, the word of command is derived from the Latin verb nolo, nole, noloi, which means to be unwilling, to refuse, to not want. So that's where you get the negative element, and that's where you get the command element from these words derived from nolo. The singular form is noli, you singular, be unwilling, and nolite, you plural, be unwilling. Okay? But to complete that idea, you need an infinitive, and I gave an example here, optare. Okay? So together those two words form the negative imperative idea in Latin. So for example, we take, let's just work with the singular command word, noli optare Marcum. You singular refuse to choose Marcus. Smoothed out, don't choose Marcus. Okay? If we give the plural or commanding more than one person, we would say nolite optare Marcus. You all refuse to choose Marcus. Don't choose Marcus. He's not a good team player. You don't want him on your team, let's say. So, so you can see it's relatively easy to form this. It's very consistent. All right, you just have to remember the command word, singular or plural, plus an infinitive together. Okay. Now, where it can get a little tricky is when you have to do a passive infinitive, which I replace the active infinitive with a passive form. Refuse to be chosen by Marcus. Refuse to be chosen by Marcus. So remember, optare becomes optari with the long I, and because we have a passive verb form, we need it often begs an agent, and the agent of that verbal action will be expressed by an ablative of personal agency with the preposition or ab. So, you singular, refuse to be chosen by Marcus. Nolite, you all, refuse to be chosen by Marcus. Say, you don't want to be on his team. He's not a good captain, so don't be chosen by him. Okay. I just threw this example up here just as a reminder that when you have a third conjugation, passive, present passive imperative, it's going to look a little bit different. It's not going to look like ducere, okay? It's going to be syncopated. It's going to be excised of that medial syllable and becomes duci. So refuse, you singular, noli duci a Marco. You singular, refuse to be led by Marcus. Okay? So just a reminder about that, because this form here can really trip up a lot of people when translating a Latin sentence. They're scratching their heads trying to figure out where that comes from. Okay. Okay, we're almost home. The alternate form uses a finite verb form. Okay, plus. So let's just back up here. It uses the conjunction ne, which is the negative of ut. We've seen ne before with purpose clauses and clauses of indirect command back in Unit 3. So you use ne, the conjunction, plus a present or perfect subjunctive form. Those two forms are interchangeable. Doesn't matter which one you use. you're going to get the same exact translation. Okay, so ne optes, that vowel, the E, as you recall, this is the present subjunctive. Where did that E come from? It came from that, remember our memory device, we fear all liars. So first conjugation, we, long E. So ne optes translates, would that you, singular, may not choose, or I hope that you don't choose, or for short, don't choose. So that may quality in the English auxiliary there gives it that subjunctive-y character. Subjunctive is about the possible, and you can see that coming through with that auxiliary may in the English. Or I hope, say expressing it, it's a hope. It's a hope that something won't happen. I hope that possibility doesn't happen. So, plural, ne optatis. Okay, so we just changed the ending sign. And by the way, notice that these are finite forms, and so you're going to see second person ending signs, second person singular and second person plural, and that makes sense because when you're giving a command, or in this case, it is a command, but remember, imperatives can include urgent or polite requests as well as warnings, and so that's probably a little bit more of what we're doing here, expressing an urgent request. But notice it's in second person because you're commanding and talking to someone. Okay. Okay, so the present subjunctive is completely interchangeable with the perfect subjunctive, ne optaveris, and you get the exact same translation. The plural present subjunctive is completely interchangeable with the plural perfect subjunctive, optaveritis. So ne optaveritis translates also as would that you plural may not choose, I hope that you plural don't choose, or just simply don't choose. Okay, so there you have it. Now I think we can safely say we're done with all the forms. If you looked at all the videos I've uploaded for this unit, you'll see a video on fourth and fifth declension forms, the third declension adjective forms, as well as the present active participle declined, which uses those same endings for the most part. A video on the irregular verb eo, a video on the present imperatives, the positive imperatives, two short videos I borrowed from YouTube from another teacher on the ablative of respect and the double dative, and this video, and I think that, oh, and there was a video on the vocative as well, a short video from YouTube that covers the basis for that. So having, and I suggest that you go through the book as well and use these videos. Just use whatever works for you to learn the forms and to get comfortable, so that when we start translating, which we'll do, when we get back, that things won't be rough sailing. Okay? All right, thanks a lot. And if I don't make another video between, which I don't think I will, between now and the time we get back, I hope you will have had a great Easter break and vacation. God bless. Bye-bye.